the wilderness outside of Jerusalem, the wilderness of Judea, was seen as a fulfillment of the prophecies of specifically Isaiah. As Matthew says, as it was spoken by the prophet Isaiah when he said, the voice of one crying in the wilderness, prepare the way of the Lord, make his paths straight. And the theme of Advent is prepare. Prepare, as we said in the hymn we just sang, let every heart prepare a home where such a mighty guest might come. Excuse me. Today I would like us to look at the portion of the book of the prophet Isaiah that was chosen for today and see what it is we are preparing for. For the reign of God, as Isaiah describes it here, is in many ways a return to the promise of the paradise we lost when we lost Eden. The promise that someday God will remake his creation to incorporate that shalom, that peace, that is first described in the first chapters of Genesis, where all the animals were made and all the human beings were made on that sixth day, and God said it was very good. And so we have this description of the time when the Lord will, in fact, bring this peace, this shalom, back to this world that he has made. And it is described in terms of animals. Is it not? Some of the most familiar passages in the whole Bible are here in this passage of Isaiah about animals. So let's look at these animals. The wolf shall dwell with the lamb. The leopard shall lie down with the kid. And that, of course, is a baby goat, you understand? And the calf and the lion and the fatling together, and a little child shall lead them. The cow and the bear shall feed, and their young shall lie down together. And the lion shall eat straw like the ox. Because, of course, you're going to say, what's the problem here? We're talking about predators and their food up until now, right? And the sucking child shall play over the hole of the ass, and the weaned child shall put his hand on the adder's den. Two of the most poisonous snakes in the Holy Land, and what you certainly kept your kids away from. For they shall not hurt or destroy in all my holy mountain, for the earth shall be full of the knowledge of the Lord as the waters cover the sea. Now, there doesn't seem to be any doubt that Isaiah here in this oracle is writing about a return to the status quo ante, right? In Eden, where all these animals are created and somehow they all eat green grass and leaves and straw. So it's a vision of the world being recreated as it was meant to be, without anybody hurting or destroying anywhere, including the animals. Isn't that interesting? Including the animals. We are so people-centered, aren't we? Even though we say heaven, at least I've heard said many times, heaven, one of the things about heaven is when you get there, all the really good dogs that you knew are going to be there to greet you. Isn't that sweet? But certainly the first literal meaning of this oracle is that God intends for all his creation, even wolves, leopards, lions, and bears, and even lambs, kids, cows, and even the snakes, to no longer hurt and destroy each other or us. It will undo that curse. Remember the curse in Genesis chapter 3 when he says to the serpent, because you have done this, the woman and her seed will bruise your heel? You will bruise her heel, and they will bruise yours. The enmity between us and serpents. So this great idea that someday God will bring this kind of peace back to the world is one of the things we're trying to prepare for in Advent. Now, this does not mean we're supposed to go home and become vegetarian at all. Because God, when we're going to talk about Noah in just a second, gave us the clean animals for food. But it does mean somehow to look at all the animals of the world and think that they are God's creation too, and that we are part of it. One of the great themes of the early American colonists and settlers, can you all see this? I'm going to put it up when you come to communion. I'm going to put it right here so you look. It's the peaceable kingdom, and that's what this is called, this vision of Isaiah, the peaceable kingdom. Now, this man, Hicks, painted this theme over and over and over and over again in the late 18th century. And as you will see here, it's very literal about the lions, the leopards, the kids, the cows, the bears. And you look carefully, here's the little child sitting right there, leading them, telling them what to do. Sort of like Max and Where the Wild Things Are, saying, be still, right? Okay. And then the interesting thing is in all of his paintings, you will see in the background colonists in their very European dress with what we call American Indians, with the Native Americans. Because that was part of his vision, that the people who already lived in this neck of the woods, on this continent, and the people who come from England would also be able to live in perfect harmony in this peaceable kingdom. So that is this vision put into a beautiful and very familiar painting. As I say, he did several paintings like this. So I will just put this here. Ronnie, will you do me a favor? Will you take it and just put it right on that prayer desk? Right there. So everybody when they come to communion can look at it. Perfect. Thank you. So that's a vision for this created world that Isaiah promises us someday will come. And this is what we're preparing for in Advent.